Quarter before the hour, Michael Patrick Shields heard all across the state of Michigan, joined in our American Metal Roof studio in the Gillespie Group Stadium District building by Cheryl Freeborough of Hyundai of Lansing. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
You know, you worked, you were a Saturn dealer for a long time,
Right.
very innovative company,
Right.
part of General Motors, and now the very innovative Hyundai
Right.
in Lansing here. I happen to be test driving the Veracruz out front there, and I've seen a couple of them now, and they've been terrific cars, and they get lots of attention in the media,
Yes.
and sales are very good.
Sales are outstanding. In fact, they're so good that we're running out of cars.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not, we have no challenge with the Japan earthquake or anything. Ours is just that they can't build them fast enough. And quality is so important that they're not going to start another plant and just, take any chances.
No kidding.
So,
There was a time when people couldn't say the name, they didn't understand what it was, and then all of a sudden there was a Super Bowl commercial, I think, where they promised they'd take the car back if you lost your job or
Right.
couldn't make the payments.
right.
That was innovative.
That was very innovative, and they just ended that and started a new program this month, which is a guaranteed trade-in value after between 24 and 48 months. If you trade your vehicle into and buy another Hyundai, we're going to guarantee the trade-in value the day you buy it. So that's a really innovative thing, because that's a big challenge for people to not get enough for their vehicle.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
always
to trade it
wonder.
in. Right, right.
You recently won an award for service?
Yes, we're #1 in the district, which is for customer satisfaction and service, and that comes from our customers. That's not something that we devise. Our customers are surveyed, and they get that information. So
That's like the Midwest, the entire
it's
Midwest
the entire
region.
Midwest region to
You're
be
number
number
one
one, right? We have
in
a big
service.
sign. We have a big flag hanging up in the middle of service, and they sent us a big award, and it's something to be proud of.
Well, that leadership comes from the top, I'm sure, that you set that tone.
And having the right people. People
Not
are
easy
really
to do.
important. Not easy. In fact, my niece was out. She has a company. She and her husband have a company in Mason, and she said, "Man, Aunt Cheryl, my biggest challenge is finding people that want to work and finding the right people." And so
Isn't that something?
it's really difficult. Yeah.
Unemployment in Michigan's at 14, and yet you can't
You
find
can't
people
find
that
people
want
that want to work. They
And the
want-
ones that you get,
Yeah.
you got to hold on to.
You do, and luckily I think there's two things that are important: your employee satisfaction and then your customer satisfaction. Because if you have happy employees, they're going to make the customer happy, and I think that's the real key, and that's what people don't realize. I think.
Huh. No, I've never heard that latter said like that before,
Yeah.
but it makes sense.
Yeah, it
Because
works
a lot
for
of
me.
bosses
It's
say,
worked for
I'm
me.
the one that wants to be happy.
No,
You're a servant leader.
I have people that make me look good. That's my
Yeah,
mantra.
I know what you mean. They got one sitting right
yeah,
over
you
here.
do. Mm-hmm.
I want to welcome to the broadcast here, because I thought it might be interesting to get your perspective. Jeffrey Liker is the author of Toyota Under Fire, and he's on the other end of our line right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Toyota caught off guard, is it fair to say, by both the recession and, of course, those acceleration issues that caused massive recalls.
Yes.
They were really, that wasn't something that Toyota was either prepared for or ever thought could happen to them, right?
Absolutely.
So what happened?
Well, you want to know why the recession happened?
No, I just, Toyota, what was their response? Because,
Oh.
they took a massive PR hit for months and months and months, it seemed
Oh,
to me.
okay. So you want to talk about the recall crisis? Well, what happened was that there was an accident first of all, in the recession, Toyota lost money, like everybody else. And at that point, there was already some negative publicity. I think the first thing that happened was that Toyota became successful, and they were #1 in the industry. So when the recession hit, there were all kinds of articles suggesting Toyota's got cracks in the armor. They're not the great company we thought they were. If they weren't, they would walk on water and they wouldn't suffer from the recession like the rest of us. So there were actually negative articles already being written. And then there was an accident in California. The Saylor family, he was a police officer, and they had a loaner car from a Lexus dealer, and the car took off on them. They couldn't stop it, and it went up to 100 miles an hour, and went over into a ravine and crashed and burned, and the family died. And his brother-in-law was in the back seat, and he had called 911. So they had a complete kind of chronicling of the events that became a hit on the internet, a YouTube hit, and people started speculating. Why did this happen? Why couldn't a police officer stop a car? And it turns out that the reason, and that led then to newspaper reporters, particularly the LA Times, picking that up and starting to speculate that it was electronic problems, and they had an expert, a so-called expert, who was working for lawyers who were.
Was it ever definitively answered what the acceleration problem was?
Yeah, so so that particular case, the acceleration problem was that the dealer had put the wrong floor mat in the vehicle. They put an all-weather floor mat that was too big for the vehicle. It didn't fit, and it jammed the accelerator. And it had happened 2 days ago to another driver, and he had complained to the receptionist, and she hadn't bothered telling anybody. And they had the same floor mat in, and the same thing happened to the Saylor family, except he couldn't unstick it in time, and that caused the accident. But it took months for that to come out from a police report, and then when it did come out, none of the major media talked about it. They still haven't talked about it, but it's in a police report that you can find online in the San Diego
Union Tribune. Your Toyota
But
Under
anyway,
Fire
so
book has
the
4
final-
tenets for
final-
business leaders around the world. And Cheryl, I thought these might be interesting to hear too. These are 4 tenets that Toyota learned from the situation. 1, your crisis response started yesterday, meaning you got to have a plan in case something goes wrong. You have to be able to respond quickly.
Well, no, that's actually not the point. The point was that
I'm reading it right here off your press release. Number 2,
Yeah,
a
but-
culture of responsibility will always beat a culture of finger pointing. Take responsibility rather than he did it wrong, they did it wrong,
Exactly.
the other guy did it wrong. Even the best culture develops weakness. So in your case, you've got to stay on guard all the time, right?
Always.
Because weakness will happen. And globalizing culture means a constant balancing act. But what you're learning very quickly going from
Right, yeah,
General
I've got to
Motors to
balance
Korea.
every day. That's a big difference, huge
Well,
difference.
It sounds to me like vigilance is important. Congratulations
Thank you.
on winning that
Thank you.
award. And you're going to have to tell us your secrets as we go week to week.
We will.
Because
I
people
will.
are listening. They
I will.
need this help.
Okay.
Cheryl Freeborough, Hyundai of Lansing. You can find her statewide. They'll even deliver the car right to you. It's Michael Patrick Shields.